Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. James Foley was a gifted American director and storyteller, born on December 28, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York. From humble beginnings, he found his way into the heart of Hollywood, not through connections, but through pure talent and a chance encounter with filmmaker Hal Ashby that changed his life. That moment lit a fire that never dimmed over a career spanning more than 3 decades. Foley made his feature debut with Reckless in 1984, but it was At Close Range and the searing Glengarry Glen Ross that established him as a master of emotionally intense, character-driven cinema. The latter, adapted from David Mamet's play, featured a powerhouse cast including Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, and Alec Baldwin. It remains one of the most revered dramas in American film history. A true craftsman, Foley directed across genres, working with Madonna on iconic music videos and guiding stars like Sean Penn, Halle Berry, and Mark Wahlberg in films such as Fear, Perfect Stranger, and The Corruptor. He later brought his keen cinematic eye to television, directing acclaimed episodes of House of Cards, Billions, and Hannibal. In his final years, Foley lived quietly in Los Angeles, continuing to mentor and create, even as he faced a private battle with brain cancer. He passed peacefully at home earlier this week at the age of 71. James Foley leaves behind a legacy of bold storytelling, unflinching honesty, and a deep respect for the actors he directed. He is survived by his loving siblings and extended family. His films will live on, not just as entertainment, but as vivid portraits of human complexity and courage.
Thank you very much, Kenny Williams. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Here we are, ready to play a little blackjack.
Wink Martindale was a beloved American broadcaster whose charm, wit, and unmistakable voice made him a cherished figure in homes across the nation. Born Winston Conrad Martindale on December 4, 1933, in Jackson, Tennessee, he began his journey in radio as a teenager and never looked back. Over the course of a remarkable 7-decade career, Martindale became a household name, known best for hosting iconic game shows such as Gambit, Tic-Tac-Dough, and Debt. Martindale's genial presence and polished delivery captivated viewers, turning simple games into must-watch television. But beyond the bright lights of the studio, he was also a creative force behind the scenes, co-creating shows like Headline Chasers. In 1959, he even topped the Billboard charts with Deck of Cards, a spoken-word hit that showcased his deep love for storytelling. He was also remembered for his close friendship with Elvis Presley, whom he interviewed during the early days of Presley's career, a moment that bonded them for life. Wink's wife, Sandy Farah, herself once linked to Elvis, often credited her husband's Tennessee roots as a sign of the kindness and warmth that defined him. In his later years, Wink faced a private health struggle with lymphoma, but remained surrounded by family and love. He passed peacefully on April 15, 2025, at his home in Rancho Mirage, California, at the age of 91. Wink Martindale leaves behind more than just a career. He leaves a legacy of joy, grace, and classic American entertainment. His voice may have gone quiet, but the memories and smiles he gave to millions will echo for generations to come.
Play it now, play it now, my lady. Like the rose you make me.
Breaking news. Today, we shine a spotlight on a music legend whose melodies have comforted millions and whose personal resilience continues to inspire the world. Neil Diamond, the voice behind timeless anthems like Sweet Caroline and America, is more than a chart-topping artist. He is a testament to perseverance, reinvention, and the quiet strength it takes to keep singing through the storms. What is your favorite Neil Diamond memory? Share it in the comments below as we journey through his life, his music, and his courage. Born on January 24, 1941, in Brooklyn, New York, Neil Leslie Diamond began his career not as a performer, but as a songwriter working in the Brill Building, penning hits for other artists in the early 1960s. One of his earliest major successes came when the Monkees recorded his song, "I'm a Believer," which became a chart-topping phenomenon. But Neil Diamond was never content to remain behind the scenes. By the mid-1960s, he had stepped into the spotlight as a solo artist, releasing a string of hits that would cement his place in music history. Songs like "Cracklin' Rosie," "Song Sung Blue," "Love on the Rocks," and of course, "Sweet Caroline" turned him into a household name. His deep, resonant voice and heartfelt lyrics spoke to the soul of America. His 1972 live album, Hot August Night, captured the energy and emotional power of his performances, earning legendary status among fans and critics alike. Neil's success was not limited to music alone. In 1980, he starred in the film The Jazz Singer, a remake of the 1927 classic. Though the film itself received mixed reviews, the soundtrack was a triumph, with songs like "Hello Again" and "America" becoming beloved staples. The project showcased Neil Diamond as a multifaceted artist unafraid to take creative risks. But even as he reached the height of fame, Neil Diamond faced challenges that tested his spirit. Behind the scenes, he dealt with the pressures of stardom, personal heartbreaks, and the ever-changing tides of the music industry. He weathered periods where his sound was deemed old-fashioned and fought to stay relevant across generations of shifting tastes. Still, he endured. With each new album, each new tour, Neil Diamond reminded the world why his voice mattered. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2011, and the Kennedy Center Honors followed the same year, recognizing not just his musical genius, but his enduring influence on American culture. However, one of the most difficult chapters in Neil Diamond's life came in 2018, when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The diagnosis forced him to retire from touring, a heartbreaking decision for an artist whose identity was so closely tied to performing. "It is with great reluctance and disappointment that I announce my retirement from concert touring," he said at the time. Fans around the world mourned the loss of seeing him live, but they also rallied around him with overwhelming support. In subsequent interviews, Neil opened up about the emotional journey of accepting his condition. At first, he resisted. "I was in denial for a year or two," he admitted in 2023, but as time passed, he began to find peace and clarity. "This is what I have to live with, and I will make the best of it." And make the best of it, he has. Even after stepping away from the stage, Neil Diamond has remained creatively active. In 2022, his life and music became the subject of the Broadway musical A Beautiful Noise. With Neil himself involved in shaping the production, the show became a celebration of his legacy, inviting audiences to relive the highs and lows of a remarkable career. One particularly moving moment came in 2023 when Neil made a surprise appearance at Fenway Park. As tens of thousands of fans sang along to Sweet Caroline, Diamond stepped up to the microphone and joined them. It was not just a nostalgic performance, it was a moment of defiance, of gratitude, and of love. Even in the face of physical limitations, Neil Diamond's voice still rang true. Unlike many celebrities, Neil Diamond has avoided public controversies. He has maintained a dignified, grounded presence throughout his career. Though his 1980 film The Jazz Singer stirred some critical debate, and his high-profile divorce in the 1990s made headlines for its financial implications, these moments never overshadowed the depth of his musical contributions. What stands out most about Neil Diamond is his sincerity. There is no artifice in his performances. His lyrics reflect the joys, doubts, and desires that make us human. Whether singing about heartbreak or patriotism, loneliness or celebration, he draws from a well of genuine emotion that few can match. Today, Neil Diamond continues to live quietly, writing, reflecting, and sharing his journey with honesty. He no longer performs to sold-out arenas, but his songs echo through stadiums, weddings, and radios across the globe. His influence is felt every time a crowd breaks into a chorus of "Sweet Caroline," or someone finds comfort in the soulfulness of "Hello Again." Neil Diamond's story is not just about music. It is about resilience, about finding purpose in the face of adversity, and about the healing power of art. His courage in sharing his diagnosis, his grace in adapting to a new chapter, and his ongoing creative spirit make him a hero beyond the stage. As we honor Neil Diamond today, we remember that legends are not defined only by their fame, but by their humanity. If his music has ever moved you, if his story has ever inspired you, take a moment to share your thoughts below. Let us celebrate a life that continues to shine with truth, melody, and heart. Thank you for joining us on this tribute to one of America's greatest musical storytellers. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more heartfelt journeys through the lives of icons who have touched the world.
I can't fit into anything tighter.
Oh, why's that?
You know why.
Our next tribute honors a woman whose strength, spirit, and screen presence left an indelible mark on generations. We are talking about Shannon Doherty, the beloved actress who became a household name through iconic roles in Beverly Hills, 90210, and Charmed. And before we begin, we want to hear from you. How did Shannon Doherty's work impact your life? Share your memories with us. Your voice matters. Shannon Doherty passed away on July 13, 2024, at the age of 53. The cause was complications from advanced cancer, a battle she had fought with extraordinary courage since her initial diagnosis in 2015. Over the years, the illness progressed, eventually reaching her brain. But through it all, she never stopped fighting, or inspiring. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, and raised in Los Angeles, Shannon began acting at just 10 years old. She captivated audiences early on with roles in Little House on the Prairie and Heathers, but it was her portrayal of Brenda Walsh in Beverly Hills, 90210, that made her a cultural icon. Later, as Prue Halliwell in Charmed, she brought strength and vulnerability to the screen, both as an actress and a director. Despite personal and professional challenges, Shannon remained fearless. When her cancer returned as stage 4, she chose to be open about her journey, not to seek sympathy, but to challenge misconceptions about illness and to empower others living through it. She spent her final years advocating, working, and sharing her truth through a heartfelt podcast. Shannon once said, "My greatest memory is yet to come." And in many ways, it still is. Through the love she gave, the stories she told, and the resilience she embodied. What does Shannon's journey mean to you? Let us know below and join us in remembering a true force of nature.
Jenny came over and told me about Freddie, such a hairy bikini, but she said,
Jill Sabul was a pioneering American singer-songwriter born in 1958 in Denver, Colorado. With wit, candor, and an unmistakable voice, she carved a path through the music industry that was both unconventional and deeply influential. Her 1995 hit, "I Kissed a Girl," broke boundaries at a time when few mainstream artists dared to challenge cultural norms. Long before terms like representation became buzzwords, Jill was simply being herself, bold, honest, and unafraid. Her career spanned over 3 decades and 12 studio albums. Whether writing sharp political satire or tender reflections on growing up, Sabul's songs touched on everything from eating disorders to social justice, always with empathy and insight. Hits like Supermodel, featured in the iconic film Clueless, and her theme for Nickelodeon's Unfabulous, showed her remarkable range, from rebellious rocker to nurturing storyteller. Jill's independence was as notable as her songwriting. After being dropped by major record labels, she turned to her fans for support and became a crowdfunding trailblazer, raising nearly $90,000 for her 2009 album California Years. Her resilience inspired a generation of independent musicians to find their voice outside the mainstream. On May 1, 2025, Jill tragically lost her life in a house fire in Woodbury, Minnesota. Authorities believe she may have been unconscious before the flames spread. Friends and fans had no idea that her final moments were near. She was actively preparing for the 30th anniversary of her landmark work. To many, Jill was more than a singer. She was a light, irreverent, wise, and endlessly giving. Her voice may be quiet now, but her songs, spirit, and bravery will echo for generations to come.
I think the power is in the cookie, and the boys want the cookies. So we hold the cookie jar.
Jiggly Caliente was a radiant and fearless performer whose presence transcended the stage. Born Bianca Castro in 1980, she brought pride to both her Filipino heritage and the drag community with every performance. Best known for competing on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 4 and returning for All Stars Season 6, Jiggly wasn't just a contestant. She became a beloved figure in the show's legacy, known for her quick wit, unapologetic honesty, and unwavering heart. More than a performer, Jiggly was a voice for inclusion. After her time as a queen on stage, she made history as one of the first trans women to serve as a judge on Drag Race Philippines, a moment she called one of her proudest achievements. Her journey from contestant to judge reflected a deeper transformation, one rooted in courage, community, and purpose. In April 2025, Jiggly faced serious health challenges and underwent surgery to address a severe infection. She passed away shortly after, on April 27th, surrounded by her family and loved ones. She was 44. Her passing prompted an outpouring of love from fellow queens, friends, and fans. Ginger Minge called her one of the fiercest, funniest, most loyal friends she ever had. RuPaul's Drag Race remembered her as a light, one whose humor and warmth uplifted everyone she encountered. Jiggly once said she wanted to be remembered not just for the glamour, but for being real. And she was. Bold, brilliant, and beautifully human, Jiggly Caliente's legacy will live on in every stage she lit up and every heart she touched.
This is Jed The Fish from K-Rock, and you should listen to us because we play the best music from all the radio stations.
Jed The Fish was a radio icon whose voice helped define a generation of music lovers. Born Edwin Jed Fish Gould III on July 15, 1955 in Los Angeles, he brought humor, unpredictability, and boundless energy to the Southern California airwaves for more than 3 decades. From the moment he joined KROQ-FM in 1978, Jed became a central figure in shaping the rock of the 80s, championing emerging sounds from artists like The Cure, Depeche Mode, The Smiths, and The Offspring before they were household names. Jed's afternoon drive time slot became a lifeline for listeners stuck in LA traffic, eager to hear what new band or offbeat comment he would throw into the mix. His quirky style, complete with irreverent jokes, sound bites, and an unmistakable laugh, brought levity and personality to FM radio at a time when most DJs stuck to the script. Behind the mic, Jed faced his share of struggles, but always returned with renewed clarity and purpose. In later years, he continued to share music through new platforms, remaining active on air until shortly before his passing. Jed The Fish passed away on April 14, 2025, at the age of 69, following a battle with a rare and aggressive form of lung cancer. Though he never smoked, his illness was sudden, and he spent his final days at home in Pasadena, surrounded by peace. For those who grew up tuning into KROQ, Jed wasn't just a DJ, he was a friend, a trailblazer, and a constant companion on the road. His legacy lives on in every track he helped introduce, in every laugh he sparked, and in the timeless sound of music that still echoes through the speakers he once ruled.
I guess that's just the way the story goes.
If you ever hummed along to Day After Day, or felt a pang of nostalgia hearing Baby Blue, then Joey Molland's music has likely found a home in your heart. Born in Liverpool on June 21, 1947, Joey Molland became a defining voice of early 1970s rock as the guitarist and later frontman of Badfinger, one of the first bands signed to the Beatles' Apple Records. Alongside hits like No Matter What and Come and Get It, Molland helped shape the shimmering, heartfelt sound that made Badfinger a staple of the power pop genre. Molland's journey was not without hardship. As Badfinger gained fame, the band was pulled into financial and legal turmoil that strained relationships and shadowed their success. Through it all, Molland remained resilient, carrying the band's legacy forward long after the original members had passed. He continued to perform as Joey Molland's Badfinger, giving fans the chance to relive the music that marked an era. He was more than just a musician. He was a steward of memory, honoring the spirit of the band with grace, even through deep personal loss. In his later years, Molland remained active on the road, touring into the fall of 2023. But by early 2025, he faced a series of health challenges stemming from complications of diabetes, including a severe infection that led to multiple surgeries. He passed away peacefully in Minnesota on March 1, 2025, at the age of 77. Joey Molland's music lives on, not only in vinyl grooves and television soundtracks, but in the hearts of those who still find comfort in a melody that once lit up the radio.
We're down and out, and you feel real good.
Did the blues ever reach through your radio and grab your heart? Then you've already met Carl Weathersby, whether you knew his name or not. Carl Weathersby wasn't just a bluesman. He was a storyteller, a soul whisperer, a man whose guitar didn't ask for attention. It commanded it. Born in Jackson, Mississippi in 1953 and raised in East Chicago, Indiana, Carl didn't learn music from textbooks. He learned it from life, from struggle, from sweat, from Sunday mornings and Saturday night jukeboxes. His story could have ended quietly until fate stepped in. As a teenager, Carl played cross-cut saw for a friend of his father. That friend turned out to be none other than Albert King. Impressed, King took him on tour, giving Carl his first real stage, and blues found its next messenger. From that point on, Carl didn't just play with legends, he became one. A 15-year run with Billy Branch's Sons of Blues carved his place in Chicago's music legacy. His solo albums, starting with Don't Lay Your Blues on Me, proved that his voice, gritty, warm, and wise, belonged not just behind a guitar, but in front of a mic. Even in his later years, battling complications from diabetes, Carl never stopped performing. Places like Kingston Mines weren't just venues, they were his living room, and every fan was family. Carl Weathersby passed away on August 9, 2024, at age 71. But if you close your eyes and press play on a track like Restless Feeling, you'll hear more than music. You'll hear a man who turned pain into poetry. Have a favorite Carl Weathersby memory or song? Share it with us below. Let's keep his story and his sound alive.
fell apart for me for a while. I just sat around feeling sorry for myself.
Nicholas Pryor, a steady and gifted presence on stage and screen, was best known for his decades-long career in film and television, where he brought depth and quiet strength to every role he touched. His most memorable performances came through beloved television staples like Beverly Hills, 90210, where he played Chancellor Milton Arnold, and in the long-running soap General Hospital, portraying Victor Collins, father to Dr. Kevin Collins. Born in 1935, Pryor's acting journey began in the early 1960s with roles in The Nurses and Another World, quickly earning him respect as a thoughtful and versatile performer. He would go on to become a familiar face across multiple generations of American television, including the soap opera spin-off Port Charles, where his layered portrayal of fatherhood and personal struggle resonated deeply with fans. His performances exuded sincerity, often portraying moral anchors in the midst of dramatic worlds. Pryor also brought his talents to film, working alongside some of Hollywood's finest. He played Tom Cruise's father in Risky Business and appeared in acclaimed projects like Hoffa, Less Than Zero, Executive Decision, and Dr. Sleep, sharing the screen with actors like Jack Nicholson, Robert Downey Jr., Kurt Russell, and Ewan McGregor. Off-screen, Pryor was known as a loyal friend, a loving husband to actress Christina Belford, and a devoted family man. He passed away on October 7, 2024, at the age of 89, after a courageous battle with cancer. He is survived by his wife, daughter Stacey Pryor, and grandchildren Auguste and Avril Bass. Nicholas Pryor's legacy endures through the characters he embodied and the quiet dignity he brought to each performance, a life in service of storytelling, marked by humility, intelligence, and grace. Jean Allison, a graceful and quietly commanding presence in American television, passed away on February 28, 2024, in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, at the age of 94, due to natural causes related to age. For over 3 decades, she brought life to the kinds of characters who often stood just outside the spotlight: teachers, nurses, neighbors, imbuing them with subtlety, strength, and heart. Born on October 24, 1929, in Tarrytown, New York, Allison studied at Adelphi College before honing her craft under the legendary acting teacher Sanford Meisner. Her journey into acting began on stage, where a performance in Teach Me How to Cry led to her discovery and first television role in General Electric Theater in 1957. That moment marked the beginning of a rich and enduring career. Throughout the 1950s to the 1980s, Allison appeared in a remarkable range of beloved series, including Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Perry Mason, The Waltons, Emergency, Highway to Heaven, and Saint Elsewhere. She became known as a consummate character actress, dependable, sincere, and emotionally resonant. On the big screen, she starred opposite Michael Higgins in Edge of Fury and held memorable roles in Bad Company, Hardcore, and The Devil's Partner. Her personal life was marked by resilience and depth. She experienced love and loss through 3 marriages, including one to writer Jerry Boyd, whose work inspired Million Dollar Baby. In her later years, she found companionship once again with Oscar-nominated cinematographer Jack Coofer, a bond rekindled after 50 years. Jean Allison's legacy is not one of flashy fame, but of quiet excellence. She gave voice to everyday women and made them unforgettable. Her work, like her presence, was always authentic, and that is where her true brilliance lived. Kevin Staples, the visionary Canadian musician, composer, and producer, passed away on March 23, 2025, at the age of 74. As co-founder of the groundbreaking band Rough Trade, Staples helped shape an era of fearless, genre-defying music that challenged norms and gave voice to those long unheard. Born on January 23, 1951, Staples began his musical journey in Toronto, where he met vocalist Carol Pope. Together, they formed Rough Trade in the late 1960s, a band that blended glam rock, synth, and social commentary with bold, theatrical flair. Their 1981 hit High School Confidential broke new ground, becoming one of the first explicitly LGBTQ+ songs to enter the top 40 in North America. With Staples' driving compositions and Pope's provocative lyrics, they carved out space for a new kind of storytelling in music, raw, unapologetic, and deeply human. Beyond Rough Trade, Staples' talents extended across media. He composed music for film and television, contributing to projects like Trailer Park Boys, the movie, and Love Lies Bleeding. His scores were marked by an emotional intelligence that elevated every frame they touched. Whether in a concert hall or behind the scenes, his fingerprints were unmistakable, layered, atmospheric, and true to the moment. In his later years, Staples remained active in the arts, supporting emerging talent and continuing to compose with quiet intensity. He passed away peacefully after facing health challenges with dignity and strength. Kevin Staples leaves behind a legacy of courage, creativity, and compassion. His music wasn't just heard, it was felt. And for those who grew up listening, questioning, or simply needing something more honest, his work offered both refuge and revelation. He was, and remains, a composer of truth.
Arch byl člověk, který vzal americké, francouzské.
Jiří Bartoska, the beloved Czech actor and longtime president of the Karlovy Vary International Film Festival, passed away at the age of 78 in Prague, following a long battle with lung cancer. With a career that spanned theater, television, and cinema, Bartoska was not only a gifted performer, but also a cultural steward whose leadership helped preserve one of Europe's most cherished film festivals. Born on March 24, 1947, in Děčín, Czechoslovakia, Bartoska studied acting at the Janáček Academy of Music and Performing Arts during a time of great political upheaval. He rose to fame in the late 1970s with his breakout role in Shadows of a Hot Summer, which won the top prize at Karlovy Vary. Throughout the 1980s, he became a household name through his work in acclaimed Czech television dramas. But his impact went far beyond the screen. In the early 1990s, when government support for the arts waned, Bartoska stepped in to help rescue the Karlovy Vary Film Festival from collapse. In 1995, he became its president and helped usher in a new golden age, welcoming legendary figures like Robert Redford, Michael Caine, and Julianne Moore. Under his guidance, the festival flourished, becoming not just an artistic hub, but a place of community and resilience. Despite health challenges in his later years, Bartoska remained a deeply respected presence. He was honored with the Czech Republic's Medal for Merit and celebrated as a man who treated everyone with the same kindness and sincerity, whether a world-famous actor or a local driver. Jiří Bartoska leaves behind a legacy of grace, integrity, and cultural devotion, a true guardian of Czech cinema and the arts.
I can hear it now.
Sophie Nivide, a luminous young talent who once graced the screen with quiet grace and emotional depth, passed away on April 14, 2025, at just 24 years old. According to official reports, she was in the early stages of pregnancy and was found in a wooded area near her home in Vermont. The circumstances remain under investigation, with authorities citing the possibility of an unintentional overdose. Sophie's journey began early. At the tender age of 6, she made her screen debut in Bella 2006, capturing hearts with her natural presence. In Mammoth 2009, she portrayed the daughter of Michelle Williams and Gael Garcia Bernal, a role that introduced her to international audiences and marked her as a gifted child actress. She went on to appear in An Invisible Sign and Margot at the Wedding, sharing the screen with some of Hollywood's most respected performers. But behind the camera, Sophie's story was one of quiet struggle. As her family shared, she found solace in becoming someone else, on a film set, in front of the lens, where imagination provided refuge. She was deeply artistic, drawn to dance and snowboarding, and she used her creativity to process the emotional weight she carried. Those close to her spoke of her generous spirit and trusting heart, which too often left her vulnerable. Though her life was far too short, Sophie's impact lives on through the tenderness of her performances and the memory of a bright soul who sought peace through art. She leaves behind a legacy that reminds us of the beauty and fragility of youth and of the need for compassion in every story untold.
What is the matter with these people? Can't you wait a goddamn day, for Christ's sake?
Breaking news. Kathy Bates, the fearless actress whose commanding presence has redefined what it means to be a leading woman in Hollywood, has lived a life filled with artistic triumphs, private battles, and public reinvention. From Oscar-winning performances to life-altering health challenges, Bates has never followed the rules, and that is precisely what has made her unforgettable. What is your favorite Kathy Bates performance? Let us know in the comments below as we dive into the remarkable journey of a woman who has stared down critics, illness, and expectations alike. Born on June 28, 1948, in Memphis, Tennessee, Kathleen Doyle Bates showed an early passion for performance. After graduating from Southern Methodist University with a degree in theater, she spent years honing her craft on stage. Though she struggled to break into film and television in her early career, Bates found her moment of reckoning at the age of 42 when she delivered a bone-chilling, career-defining performance as Annie Wilkes in Rob Reiner's 1990 adaptation of Stephen King's Misery. That role not only earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, but redefined what audiences expected from female leads. Annie Wilkes was not glamorous or soft-spoken. She was complex, terrifying, and heartbreakingly human, and Bates portrayed her with such intensity that it left critics in awe. Suddenly, the actress once dismissed as too plain became Hollywood's most unpredictable powerhouse. From there, her career blossomed. Bates turned in memorable performances in films like Fried Green Tomatoes, Dolores Claiborne, Titanic, and About Schmidt, where she earned a second Oscar nomination. She became a fixture in both indie dramas and big-budget blockbusters, never allowing herself to be typecast. On television, she dazzled in shows such as American Horror Story, and more recently, in the reboot of Matlock, proving that age is no barrier to relevance. Yet, while her career thrived, Bates was quietly fighting personal battles that would test even the strongest spirit. In 2003, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She chose to undergo treatment privately, continuing to work while keeping her condition out of the public eye. Nearly a decade later, in 2012, she faced another devastating diagnosis: breast cancer. This time, she underwent a double mastectomy. The surgery saved her life, but it came with an enduring cost. Following the procedure, Bates developed lymphedema, a chronic condition that causes painful swelling, usually in the limbs. Instead of retreating, Bates became a passionate advocate, using her platform to raise awareness about the condition and serve as a spokesperson for the Lymphatic Education and Research Network. And she did not stop there. Facing a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, Bates made dramatic lifestyle changes, eventually losing over 100 pounds. She credits her transformation to a process of intuitive eating, mindfulness, and a deeper understanding of her body. "I had to learn to listen to myself, to respect what I needed," she said. The result? Improved health, renewed energy, and a revitalized career. Bates has also been an outspoken voice against ageism and body shaming in Hollywood. In an industry obsessed with youth and beauty, she carved a space for women who defy expectations. She has never apologized for who she is, on or off screen. In interviews, she often recounts how she was told she was not pretty enough for movies, only to go on to lead films, win awards, and inspire a generation of actors. Her choices have not always been safe. She has taken on roles that shocked audiences, such as her nude scene in About Schmidt, a bold move that sparked conversation but also earned her praise for realism and courage. She has portrayed characters that others would shy away from, always with empathy, intensity, and truth. Through all of this, Bates has never lost her connection to the craft. She speaks about acting not as a career, but as a calling. "Telling stories is how we heal," she once said. Her work has always reflected that belief, whether she is playing a psychotic nurse, a grieving mother, a civil rights lawyer, or a sharp-witted detective. Today, Kathy Bates continues to act, advocate, and inspire. Her role in the new Matlock reboot has introduced her to a younger generation, while longtime fans celebrate her enduring brilliance. Despite all she has faced, Bates remains a force, resilient, relevant, and deeply respected. She lives not in the spotlight, but in the hearts of those who see her not only as a performer, but as a survivor and truth-teller. In an industry that often rewards conformity, Kathy Bates stands as proof that authenticity and grit still matter. As we look back on her journey, we find a woman who never stopped fighting for her health, her career, and her right to be seen. Her story is one of courage, creativity, and quiet revolution. If Kathy Bates has ever moved you, now is the time to share your thoughts. Like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful tributes to icons who redefine greatness. Thank you for joining us in honoring the extraordinary life and legacy of Kathy Bates.